Level 15 in Clash Royale may go down as one of the worst updates in Clash Royale history, not only because it hugely encourages pay to win, but also because no one even wanted a new level, not to mention it is almost impossible to obtain for a free-to-play player. But to give you an idea, if you need 50,000 elite wildcards per card, then to max your entire account you would need 5.4 million wildcards, which is 2.7 million common cards. But what if I told you there was a person who within 2 days of the level 15 update being released, maxed his entire card collection to level 15? What if I also told you that the same person spent over $25,000 on the worst Clash Royale update ever? This is the story of the player by the name of Neo. The update released on the 19th of June 2023. Many players said that they would not upgrade a single card to level 15 in protest of how truly bad the update was, but Neo had other ideas. Content creators such as Orange Juice Gaming were planning to slowly progress their cards to level 15, but in that time, Neo had purchased over $25,000 of chests from the shop so that his already maxed account would give overflow elite wildcards as he opened these chests. As he opened more and more chests, he started to level up his cards to level 15, and he started climbing up the card collection leaderboard. On the 21st of June, when people saw a fully maxed account that had 109 cards at elite level, they were absolutely amazed and also mad. Players started hating on the guy because he seemed to completely ignore how bad the update was and just pay $25,000 for no reason. And the fact that it was an account with an empty name that did it was also so surprising, as if the player didn't want the community to find out that he had just become Supercell's data, and showed Supercell that just because one person spent an absurd amount of money, that in typical Supercell fashion they would assume that other players would also spend too much money. As more people found out of this mystery player's actions, they began to theorize who it might have been. Players must have been furious at this time though. Imagine creating a whole protest to make Supercell realize how bad an update was, and the next day someone spends over $25,000 on the thing you protested about. However, on the 21st of June, the player would create a clan called I'm the Data, which was a direct reference to Clash Royale developers constantly referring to the data that they have collected rather than the feedback of their players. Shortly after, he would also create another clan by the name of Explanation, and then Refund Loophole, and provided no further information. But players began to realize what this player's true intentions were. It wouldn't be long before he made a clan called Read, where in the description he wrote, "Technically I did spend about $25,000, but I got it refunded in a legal way. Don't jump to conclusions." Where everything was clear now. This person didn't max his account because he liked the update. He maxed his account so that he could refund his money and glitch the system and try and scam Supercell. At this point, the situation was all over the place. Royale API, not knowing this previously since he only posted this update around a year after his progression, decided to give him a custom achievement. Meanwhile, players were confused as to what would happen to his account now that he got all his money refunded in a legal way, but they were also confused about what the legal way was. On the 22nd of June, the player makes a clan called SC Got Scammed, with the description of L. It had been confirmed that the player's goal of being refunded all his money had worked, and he now had a whopping negative 106 million gems. This meant that Supercell not only lost $25,000 in potential revenue, but this player now had a maxed account and also set an example for a potential exploit to try and screw Supercell over, all for a protest of a single bad update. He would once again make another clan called SC Got Scammed, where the description read, "They have all the right to give me negative gems," which further proved that his gems had been refunded. And so the player not only has a fully maxed account, but he technically has spent no money to max it from level 14 to level 15. So what exactly did this player achieve? In terms of screwing Supercell over, practically nothing. Gems are not real forms of currency. They are only the in-game currency, and so Supercell didn't really lose much. Just the potential to make $25,000 off the player, but they didn't lose nor win in the situation, since now they're at risk of a lot more players doing the same thing on a larger and more uncontrollable scale. And for many players, it is not a bannable offense, as refunding purchases is something that Supercell is legally meant to do. While in terms of revenue loss it barely affected Supercell, it made a very clear point on how truly bad this update is, and that was exactly what this player had intended to do. Since Supercell refused to take any sorts of feedback from the community despite players reaching out to them and even Clash Royale content creators making videos about it, they instead rely on the data that they had collected, which must have been completely incorrect based on how hated this update was. The only way that the player base could have at least made some sort of influence was to literally scam Supercell and show them that players are so mad about the update they are willing to risk pretty much losing their account to try and save the state of the game. But while many people argue that Supercell is keen to add level 16 in the coming months, we will probably never see this kind of situation again, and Neo's account will probably be banned since Supercell will know that he exploited a feature. One thing that I'm confused about though is if Supercell will make efforts to retrieve the $25,000 that they lost. Thanks for watching.